close my eyes, I can still hear the sound of that crackling fire. And I can smell the smell of that pancake batter frying. It was 3 days before Christmas. It was my little brother's birthday, and we were visiting my aunt, our aunt in our hometown of La Grande, Oregon. It was the first time my brother had been back in 15 years, and it was the first time that his wife had been able to come and experience an Oregon Christmas. And our aunt is she's a cross between Auntie Mame, the fairy godmother from Cinderella, and the coolest gal that you ever knew in high school. And so our morning was filled with life and energy, and we were having so much fun, and she was making Abelskiever, which she's made for us our entire lives. We've always called them Abel Skables, and they're little round pancake balls, and when you dip them in melted butter and powdered sugar, they're fabulous. And that's what my brother wanted for his birthday breakfast, and we were just enjoying ourselves and having a good time. And then we asked Adam, what do you really want to do for your birthday today? And he thought about it for a minute, and he said, you know, what I'd really like to do is go out in the mountains and cut down a Christmas tree like we used to do when we were kids. And we all kind of just said, oh, well, that would be fun. You know, we're in Oregon and we live in Utah, and we were driving a really little car, and you don't bring Christmas trees from Oregon to Utah, and so we're just thinking that's just kind of silly. And then all of a sudden he said, let's do it. And the energy level in the room just kind of brightened even more. And something happened, and all of a sudden it was like we were kids again. And we were getting on our boots and putting on our mittens and putting on our hats, and we were going out on our adventure up into the mountains. And we piled into my uncle's truck, and we went off into those mountains, those beautiful mountains that we knew so well. Because throughout our childhoods, we had been there for field trips to look at flowers, and fishing trips, and hikes, and 4th of July picnics, and of course going in and cutting down our Christmas tree. We first made a stop at our old spot that we used to go, and we paid homage to our dear old dog who's buried up there. But we didn't quite find the tree that we wanted, so we kept driving. We went to another place, and we got out, and we knew right away there's not a whole lot of magic here. And magic is a must. And so we drove on a little further, and then we saw it, our place. And we got out, and it was beautiful, and there were so many beautiful trees. And it was cold, but it was an invigorating cold. We started to hike through this beautiful forest, looking at each tree. And it was so much fun. And it really was like we were kids again. And then, after we'd been looking for trees for a little while, my sister-in-law, she noticed that up kind of a little ways on the hill, there was kind of a light that was shining just a little bit through the trees, and it was highlighting this one tree. And my sister-in-law said, how about that one? And so we hiked up there, and we got really excited, and we came up to the tree, and it was so perfect and beautiful, and we were so excited. And my sister-in-law's having the perfect Oregon experience, and she's just loving it, and it's so much fun. So we decided this is our tree. And we got out the saw, and we started to cut it down, and this wave of fresh balsam scent just filled the air, and we stopped for a minute, and we just drank that in. And we got our tree, and we were carrying it back, put it in my uncle's truck. And probably the, 4,075th reason why my brother is the best ever. He got out his phone so we wouldn't forget our spot, and he put a pin in there, and he said, Christmas Tree Wonderland. And we drove back to my aunt's house, and we had a wonderful evening and a wonderful birthday party, and it was just the perfect day. So full of joy. And the very next day, we got that Christmas tree and we tied it on my brother and sister-in-law's little teeny red car, and we drove that Christmas tree all the way back from Grand, Oregon to Smithfield, Utah. And we loved it. We decorated it on Christmas Eve, and it was so much fun. And ever since then, as often as we can, we've made it a tradition to go back to Oregon and go up in the mountains and cut down a Christmas tree. And sometimes we don't always make it, but when we do, we always have a few little people that kind of laugh at us like, why in the world are you driving for 8 hours to get a Christmas tree? And these people have obviously never visited Oregon, or they would understand that, but they don't. And so we just smile and say it's what we do. And the really beautiful gift of that perfect day was because it did so much for my heart. When we left our home and we came to this beautiful Cache Valley that I love so much, but it broke my heart to leave our home. And that day gave me such a gift to know that I can't go back, but I can go home again. And whenever I do, there will be a crackling fire in the fireplace. There will be sizzling pancake batter being made into able scales. There will be the coolest aunt you could ever hope for, and Christmas tree wonderland waiting. Thank you.